All right, there we go. I think we're good to begin. Hello. Welcome to today's daily Bible reading. As always, my name is Khalil. And today we're going to be continuing our reading of Numbers. Today we'll be picking it up at Numbers. Today we'll be picking it up at Numbers 11. Last time we read Numbers 6 through 10. Just a brief overview. We're reading about the children of Israel starting to go into the land of Canaan, or just they're preparing to enter into the land of Canaan. So now they've established their armies. Now they've established the tabernacle. They've established the Levites whose job is to move the tabernacle, how they do their jobs with the specific ordinance that they do it under, so on and so forth. So we've been establishing all of those facts just so that Israel can start getting ready to actually move into the promised land, or get ready to go to the land of Canaan, which is the promised land, and fight for it. Yeah, today we'll be picking up with Numbers 11, but before we get started with Numbers, we'll be starting off today with Proverbs 26 and 27. Because February only has 28 days in a month, like in the month of February, we'll be reading from now on until the end of February 2 Proverbs every day. So the Proverbs for today are Proverbs 26 and 27. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and get started with Proverbs 26. As snow in summer and as rain in harvest, so honor is not seemly for a fool, as the bird by wandering, as the swallow by flying. So the curse causeless shall not come. A whip for the horse, a bridle for the ass, and a rod for the fool's back. Answer not a fool according to his folly, lest thou also be like unto him. Answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own conceit. So, even here, answer now a fool according to his folly, lest thou be also like unto him. Answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own conceit. Where even here, it's showing discretion. Where at times, even doing the same action, right? The same action itself can sometimes be a good thing. At times can be a good thing, while other times can be a bad thing. But it really all comes down to discretion and when and how you act. So at times, answering a fool according to his folly, it could be a bad thing, lest thou also be like unto him. Because the Bible talks about how, if you argue, if a wise man argues with a fool, someone watching will be able to tell which one is the wise man, which is the fool. They're going to think two fools are arguing. But then also, answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own conceit. Well, at times you have to say something, lest the fool is really going to believe and think that, oh, wow, I'm on to something. What I'm saying is smart, so on and so forth. Alright, verse 6. He that sendeth a message by the hand of a fool cut off the feet and drinketh damage. The legs of the lame are not equal, so is a parable in the mouth of fools. And he that bindeth a stone in a sling, so is he that giveth honor to a fool. As a thorn goeth up into the hand of a drunkard, so is a parable in the mouth of fools. Where all these good things are useless to a fool, because they can't use it correctly. Right? What use is there of honor to a fool? Because really, at the end of the day, even if you give them honor, they're just going to bring shame. 10. The great God that formed all things both reward the fool and reward the transgressor. So the Lord is the one who, at the end of all things, judges and gives the rewards. Whether it's a bad reward, a punishment, or if it's a good reward, like treasure. As the dog returned to his vomit, so a fool returned to his folly. Seest thou a man wise in his own conceit? There is more hope of a fool than of him. The slothful man saith, there is a lion in the way, a lion is in the streets. As the door turneth upon his hinges, so doth the slothful upon his bed. The slothful hideth his hand in his bosom. It grieveth him to bring it again to his mouth. The sluggard is wiser in his own conceit than 7 men that can render a reason. We even hear the sluggard, where the slothful mean the same thing, lazy. not wanting to put forth any work, won't even bring their hand out of their coat to eat or to do anything. And even here talking about the sluggard, pride is wiser in his own conceit than 7 men that can render a reason. He that passeth by and meddleth with strife belongeth not to him, is like one that taketh a dog by the ears. As a madman who casteth firebrands, arrows, and death, so is the man that deceiveth his neighbor, and saith, Am not I in sport? So like who's deceived his neighbor and not I in sport, basically saying the same thing. Well, I'm just joking. Or it doesn't really matter. Or even like probably in best today's terms, it's just a prank. Like you'll see people do like the most insane, awful stuff to people. Be like, oh dude, it was just a prank. Well, it's like, no, you really did that though. Or even if you didn't do something, but you made me believe something happened. We're like, yeah, it's still bad. Like you did bring bad upon me, but like to you it's just a joke. Or like here it's in sport, joking. Where no wood is, there the fire goeth out. So where there is no talebearer, the strife ceaseth. As coals are to burning coals, and wood to fire, so is a contentious man to kindle strife. So even here, strife coming from, he said, where there's no talebearer, the strife ceaseth. And there, a contentious man kindles strife. We're even talking about pride comes before contention, or contention only comes by pride. Or it's the same thing of where it's coming from something, it's coming from someone, right? Where there is always a source of that contention, whether between the pride between two parties, whether it's a specific person, so on and so forth. The words of a talebearer are as wounds, and they go down into the innermost parts of the belly. Burning lips and a wicked heart are like a potsherd covered with silver dross. He that hateth dissembleth with his lips, and layeth up deceit within him. When he speaketh fair, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart, whose hatred is covered by deceit. His wickedness shall be showed before the whole congregation. Whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it will return upon him. A lying tongue hateth those that are afflicted by it, and a flattering mouth worketh ruin. Where like even 27. Whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein. Where no matter what we feel we may get away with in this life, the wickedness that we do, or even the stuff that we don't necessarily take part in, but that we enjoy, ultimately all of that's going to come back upon us. Like it said before in 10, the great God that formed all things, both reward the fool and reward the transgressor. He's the one who, at the end of the day, makes sure everyone is judged and is treated according to their doings. So, at the end of the matter of all things, whether within this life or in the next one, the Lord will return upon everyone the repercussion or the reward of their doings. All right. But with that, I don't have anything else to say about Proverbs 26. So I'll go ahead to chapter 27. Proverbs 27 and verse 1. Boast not thyself of tomorrow, for thou knowest not what a day may bring. Let another man praise thee, and not thine own mouth, a stranger, and not thine own lips. A soul is heavy, and the sand weight, but fool's wrath is heavier than them both. So even here, like, none of us know what tomorrow brings. James 4, life is but a vapor, here one moment, gone the next. Where we shouldn't boast in the things of this life, or care of these things of this life, or care for tomorrow, because ultimately they're all just going to go away. We should all be working for that next life. And that's why it's so important that we read the Bible, read the Word of God, study it, keep the Lord's commandments, because that's what is going to get us that eternal life, get us the rewards of the next life. Yeah, and then even let another man praise thee, not thine own mouth. Don't boast of yourself, let others boast of you. Abase yourself, let the Lord exalt you. 4. Wrath is cruel and anger is outrageous, but who is able to stand before envy? Open rebuke is better than secret love, because rebuke can save your life if you turn away, if you hearken to it and turn away from the wicked way. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. So it's better to face wounds from a friend because they're doing it for your own good than to receive the kisses of an enemy, where they treat you nice, but really at the end of it, they only want harm for you. The fool soul loatheth in honeycomb, but to the hungry soul every bitter thing is sweet. As a bird that wandereth from her nest, so is a man that wandereth from his place. Ointment and perfume rejoice the heart, so that the sweetness of a man's friend by hearty counsel. Thine own friend and thy father's friend forsake not, neither go into thy brother's house in the day of thy calamity. For better is a neighbor that is near than a brother afar off. Where even here, like if you have those close to you, where the saying is like blood is thicker than water, right? But the blood is the saying is blood is thicker than water. But there's a second half that people sometimes even forget about, where but the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. Where just the family that you choose is better than necessarily the family that you're born with. And that's even what's talking about here in like verse 10. Thine own friend and thy father's friend forsake not, neither go into thy brother's house in the day of calamity, for better is a neighbor that is near than a brother afar off. Where if we have here people who we know love us and we can trust and have done good for us, where it's just the same thing. Like there's a friend that's sticking closer than a brother. That's Proverbs. 11. My son, be wise and make my heart glad, that I may answer him that reproacheth me. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. Take his garment as surety for a stranger, and take a pledge of him for a strange woman. He that blesseth his friend with a loud voice, rising early in the morning, it shall be counted a curse to him. A continual dropping in a very rainy day, and a contentious woman are alike. Whosoever hideth her hideth the wind, and the ointment of his right hand which berateth itself. Iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. So we all should be working to help each other. Iron sharpening iron. We all should be working to make each other better. That's even the point of open rebuke is better than secret love, or faithful are the wounds of a friend. Everything we should be doing for one another should be for one another's benefit. Even if we don't like it ourselves, in terms of like the wounds of a friend are faithful. Right? Where, granted, if I'm hitting you, you're not going to like it, but I'm hitting you to stop you from doing something worse, right? Or so, just an analogy or something of the sort, right? But we all should be working and doing that for each other. Iron sharpeneth iron. 18. Whoso keepeth the fig tree shall eat the fruit thereof, so he that waiteth on his master shall be honored. As in water face answereth to face, so the heart of man to man. Hell and destruction are never full, so the eyes of man are never satisfied. As the finding pot for silver and the furnace for gold, so is a man to his praise. Though thou shouldest bray a fool in a mortar among wheat with a pestle, yet will not his foolishness depart from him. Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flock, and look well to thy herds. For riches are not forever, and doth the crown endure to every generation? The hay appeareth, and the tender grass showeth itself, and herbs in the mountains are gathered. The lands are for thy clothing, and the goats are the price of the field. And thou shalt have goat's milk enough for thy food, for the food of thy household, and for the maintenance for thy maidens. Yeah. And even here, hell and destruction are never full, so the eyes of man are satisfied. As the finding pot for silver and for gold, so is man to his praise. Where we should all learn to be content. Right? be content with things of this life as well as the things. When I say things of this life, I mean even understand the things of this life, they are nothing, right? So we're talking about like riches, a job, work, like any form of pedigree you can get, like nobility, being a king or a queen or a prince or a princess, or even just family. Literally everything within this life is nothing. But even then, because it's nothing, it's all nothing. No matter how much we have, we should be able to be content with whatever we have, right? Because really, if I were to be a billionaire, in actuality, it would mean nothing more than if I were poor. Because at the end of the day, all of that money, that $1 billion I have, will mean nothing. It eventually will go away. Whether because it gets spent up, it gets taken from me within my lifetime, or I just die. Right? And then when I'm raised by the Lord for judgment, what will I have? I will have nothing. So, we all need to learn to be content with the things that we do have and appreciative of the things that the Lord has given us. Because really all that we have is given by the Lord, and that's exactly more than enough reason to be content, because the Lord has given it to us. Yeah. That's all I have to say about chapter 27. All right. In that case, we can just go ahead and move on to Numbers 11. Numbers 11. Yeah, and I'll get started with verse 1. And when the people complained, it displeased the Lord, and the Lord heard it, and his anger was kindled, and the fire of the Lord burned among them and consumed them that were in the uttermost parts of the camp. So here we have what we'll see continually be a pattern of the children of Israel. They start to complain, and this is why I even brought being the point of content. They weren't content. They weren't content with what the Lord had given them, and they complained constantly. Here's an example. They complained and displeased the Lord, because the Lord had given them so much, the same way as he's given us so much, right? And because of which his anger is kindled, and the fire of the Lord burnt among them, so he sends fire and is killing them, and consumed them that were in the uttermost parts of the camp. And the people cried unto Moses. And when Moses prayed to the Lord, the fire was quenched. And he called the name of the place Taberah, because the fire of the Lord burnt among them. And the mixed multitude that was among them fell a lusting. And the children of Israel also wept again and said, Who shall give us flesh to eat? So even now, again, Israel, this is a different time. So now they fell a lusting. And a lust, people take the term lust and try to think of it as like sexual desire all the time, which it can be. But lust just means whatever you desire. In this instance, they started lusting after meat, right? That's what at the end of verse 4, who shall give us flesh to eat? 5. Remember the fish which we did eat in Egypt freely, the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlic, but now our soul is dried away. There's nothing at all beside this manna before our eyes. So now, they're like, oh, in Egypt, we had all this, we had all the fish, and we had the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and so on and so forth. But now all we got here is this dirty manna, this old bread. And like very clearly, again, they have completely lost their minds, and that they are not content. And also, they were literally slaves in Egypt. But this even goes forth to show like how I'm saying we, like us, like people today, can even be irrational ourselves. And how, and in our discontentment. right? It's where we're not content. And even, you can think of it the same way where we're unappreciative in the foods that we get to eat now. Like, I'll just say in America, right? Many people in America are lucky enough that we can have the free picking of like whatever we would like to eat. Granted, I mean in terms of like, you may not be able to afford fancy food, but if you are able to go to a grocery store, you're able to have a large variety and pick of things you could eat. While in many countries throughout the world, that is not the case. And we can even forget to be content in that fact. So this is even a really good example for us to remember that, well, they are not too different from us in this fact. We can be just as unappreciative as they are, or as they were. But now let's see how this finishes. So they're complaining about how not having like meat or leeks or so on and so forth. They're complaining that all they get is manna to eat. Verse 7. And the manna was as coriander seed, and the color thereof was as the color of bdellium. And the people went about and gathered it and ground it in mills, or beat it in a mortar and baked it in pans and made cakes of it. And the taste of it was as the taste of fresh oil. And when the dew fell upon the camp in the night, the manna fell upon it. Then Moses heard the people weep throughout their families, every man at the door of his tent. And the anger of the Lord was kindled greatly. Moses also was displeased. So the Lord is incredibly mad, and so is Moses, because it's like, well, I'm feeding you guys continually, but you guys are just so, again, unappreciative that, you just want more? 11. And Moses said to the Lord, wherefore hast thou afflicted thy servant? And wherefore have I not found favor in thy sight that thou layest the burden of all this people upon me? Have I conceived all this people? Have I begotten them that thou shouldest say unto me, carry them in thy bosom, as a nursing father beareth a suckling child, unto the land which thou swearest unto their fathers? When should I have flesh to give unto all this people? For they weep unto me, saying, give us flesh that we may eat. I am not able to bear all this people alone, because it is too heavy for me. But if thou deal thus with me, kill me, I pray thee, out of hand. If I have found favor in thy sight, and let me not see my wretchedness. Moses has gone so far here. Now he's talking to the Lord. He's like, Lord, why would you put these people on my shoulders? Like, are these my kids? Did they come from my loins? Did they come from my wife? Like, that I have to deal with them such a way? They're all coming up here complaining to me about stuff and and like they're nothing I've given them and you've given them is enough. Like, Lord, if you love me as the way I know you do, Lord, just kill me, because it's better you just kill me now than I have to keep dealing with these people. Is essentially what Moses is saying here. So Moses is just basically venting to the Lord, just like, Lord, these people are just so bad. Lord, like, what did I do wrong that I'm like having to like take care of these people and figure out these things for them, and having to deal with their lack of contentment and their just continual like disobedience. Like, what did I do? Verse 16. And the Lord said unto Moses, gather unto me 70 men of the elders of Israel, whom thou knowest to be the elders of the people, and officers over them, and bring them unto the tabernacle of the congregation, that they may stand there with thee. And I will come down and talk with thee there, and I will take of the spirit which is upon thee, and I will put it upon them, and they shall bear the burden of the people with thee, that thou bear it not thyself alone. And say thou unto the people, sanctify yourselves against tomorrow, and ye shall eat flesh. For ye have wept in the ears of the Lord, saying, who shall give us flesh to eat? For it was well with us in Egypt. Therefore the Lord will give you flesh, and ye shall eat. Ye shall not eat 1 day, nor 2 days, nor 5 days, neither 10 days, nor 20 days, but even a whole month, until it come out at your nostrils, and it be loathsome unto you, because that ye have despised the Lord which is among you, and have wept before him, saying, why came we forth out of Egypt? So the Lord's like, hey, fine, you don't want meat, I'll give you enough meat that will be coming out of your nose. That's like, how dare you say, why came we forth out of Egypt? Acting like I didn't deliver you and bring you forth from slavery. to 21. And Moses said, the people among whom I am are 600,000 footmen, and thou hast said, I will give them flesh that they may eat a whole month. Shall the flocks and the herds be slain for them to suffice them? Or shall all the fish of the sea be gathered together for them to suffice them? And so Moses is like, well, Lord, how's this going to be? We have so many people here. 23. And the Lord said unto Moses, is the Lord's hands waxed short? Thou shalt see now whether my word shall come to pass unto thee or not. He's like basically, the Lord's like, hey, I'm God. Like you'll see how I do it. And Moses went out and told the people the words of the Lord, and gathered the 70 men of the elders of the people, and set them round about the tabernacle. And the Lord came down in a cloud and spake unto him, and took of the Spirit that was upon him, and gave it unto the 70 elders. And it came to pass that, when the Spirit rested upon them, they prophesied and did not cease. And there remained 2 of the men in the camp. The name of the one was Eldad, and the name of the other Medad, and the Spirit rested upon them. And they were of them that were written, but went not out into the tabernacle, and they prophesied in the camp. And there ran a young man and told Moses, and said, Eldad and Medad do prophesy in the camp. And Joshua the son of Nun, the servant of Moses, one of his young men, answered and said, My lord Moses, forbid them. And Moses said unto him, Enviest thou for my sake? Would God that all the Lord's people were prophets, and that the Lord would put his Spirit upon them. So now here, the Spirit of the Lord is falling upon some of the elders, they prophesying. And Joshua's like, hey, well, Moses, stop him. Like, you're the prophet. And Moses is like, hey, Joshua, like, you don't get it. The Lord wants all of his people to be prophets, and that the Lord will put his Spirit upon them. And that's really, I took the time to stop and bring this up, because that's really how all of us should be, right? Sure, we have preachers and pastors who are over churches and have positions and things of that nature, right? The same as Moses had a position, right? And Aaron did, being the high priest. And we even see later Joshua replaces Moses, and you'll see further down the line there are other prophets, and there are kings and judges and so on and so forth. There are positions and stuff, especially when you get into the New Testament. They'll talk about pastors and deacons and bishops and so on and so forth. But really, the mission of the Lord is for everyone to be a prophet. It's not a thing of position. It's not a thing of notoriety. It's a thing of you're spreading and teaching the word of God. And really, that's what the Lord wants everyone to do, and everyone to be capable of doing. Right? Whether you're a man or woman, young or old, child or adult, whatever, young and old, but you get my point. Everyone, Israel, not Israel, stranger, Gentile, Israel, whatever you may have you, everyone should know the word of God, should be capable of teaching it, should be considered a prophet unto the Lord. Because really, Israel is the firstborn of God. It is the Lord's chosen people, but everyone is the Lord's people, right? If you were to go into, the genealogy, I believe it's either in the beginning of Matthew or the beginning of Luke. When it refers to Jesus' genealogy, and then we get to Adam. Adam was called the Son of God, where all of us are the children of the Lord. All people are the Lord's people. It's just that Israel was chosen first for a specific purpose, to be the priests. And to, he said, prophets to the rest of the world, to teach them the word of God and so on and so forth. That's even why Jesus came through Israel, for that purpose. Well, all to the point, all of us should be priests and prophets unto the Lord. But yeah, 30. And Moses gathered him into the camp, he and the elders of Israel, and there went forth a wind from the Lord, and brought quails from the sea, and let them fall by the camp, as it were a day's journey on this side, and as it were a day's journey on the other side, round about the camp, and as it were 2 cubits high upon the face of the earth. And the people stood up all that day, and all that night, and all the next day, when they gathered the quails. He that gathered least gathered 10 homers, and they spread them all abroad for themselves round about the camp. So the Lord brought a great wind, brought a bunch of quails that all came, landed in the camp, and then this was the meat that they ate of. even if you remember from our reading of Leviticus 11, quail was not listed as one of the unclean fowl. So this was clean for them to eat, which is obviously why the Lord brought these over there for them to eat for meat. 33. And while the flesh was yet between their teeth, ere it was stewed, the wrath of the Lord was kindled against the people. And the Lord smote the people with a very great plague. So even though the Lord's mad that you guys are so unappreciative, not content, and that again, you guys still will not just be obedient and content, and that you're complaining again. The fact you just complained about this meat in the first place. So the Lord's upset, and he smote them with a very great plague. He's killing them. 34. And he called the name of that place Kibroth Hattaavah, because they buried the people that lusted. So they killed them. And the people journeyed from Kibroth Hattaavah unto Hazeroth, and abode at Hazeroth. Chapter 11. I'm very sorry. Yeah. As it was kind of mimicked in, I kind of said while we're actually reading through the chapter, this is a really good example for us of just how, we have to be content. As we last read in Proverbs. The Lord gives us so much in life, right? Even just us waking up every day, that is a gift from the Lord, the breath of life. And it can be very easy for us to forget that and be unappreciative. The same way they forgot here, just how much the Lord really had done for them, bringing them out of Egypt. Letting them live every day, because remember, all this is happening to bring them to a promised land that the Lord's going to give to them. So just that, because the Lord is feeding them too. So that, the fact He is feeding you, granted, what your complaint is that He's not feeding you with something I guess you want to eat, manna. Even though I would absolutely love to try that, and it's literally bread from heaven, but still to the point. The same way they forgot all the things that the Lord had done for them, and in their unappreciativeness, were disrespectful to the Lord, or did not acknowledge all He'd done for them, so the Lord punished them. Same thing can easily happen to us, right? So it's very important that we all thank the Lord, right? In everything give thanks, right? Whether in the good or the bad, because the Lord controls everything in this life, the good and the evil that we experience in it. So just to be thankful of all things and be ever content. All right. So now, we're at Numbers 12. Numbers 12 in verse 1. And Miriam and Aaron spake unto Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married. For he had married an Ethiopian woman. So here, Moses has married an Ethiopian woman. And this is not Zipporah. Zipporah was a Midianite. This is just a different woman entirely, right? So they don't go into the circumstances of how he married this other Ethiopian woman. It just says it right there. For he had married an Ethiopian woman. That's your subtext. So just long story short, Moses married an Ethiopian woman, and Miriam and Aaron are giving him flack for it. what reason specifically? Because she's Ethiopian? Maybe. We don't really know. We don't know what reason specifically they were talking against Moses. But it had something to do with the fact that he had married an Ethiopian woman. Right? But we'll see that it didn't matter. It was the fact that we'll see it's an issue that they spoke against Moses in such a manner. Like, we'll see that. Verse 2. And they said, hath the Lord indeed spoken only by Moses? Hath he not spoken also by us? And the Lord heard it. So now they've gone a step too far. And them talking against Moses because he's married an Ethiopian. They're like, well, hey, shoot. Isn't the Lord like with us too? Doesn't the Lord speak to us? Because remember, Aaron's the high priest. And Miriam, they called her a prophetess. So, like, they had a good connection with the Lord. But remember, Moses is on a different, completely level. So here, they're basically saying, well, like, what makes you special? What makes you different from us? And the Lord heard it. Verse 3. Now the man Moses was very meek, above all the men which were upon the face of the earth. Moses was very meek, meaning he was like the humblest man on the earth. That's what he means. Very meek above all the men which were upon the face of the earth. So he was very humble, and he wasn't not talkative, but he had good discretion. I guess is the best way of putting it. He was meek. He was very humble. He was of limited words. That's the way I would like to put it. He was of limited words. Even think about back in Exodus where he was saying, I'm of uncircumcised lips, when he was talking to the Lord in Mount Sinai. And the Lord said, well, okay, I'll give you your brother Aaron to be your mouthpiece. Well, to the point. Moses, they're all saying this against him right now, but Moses isn't really defending himself because he's so humble and because he's so meek. So they're coming against him, but Moses is just kind of taking it because he's humble, right? So that's just how he is. Verse 4. And the Lord spake suddenly unto Moses, and unto Aaron, and unto Miriam. So now the Lord's kind of like broken this up. Come out ye three unto the tabernacle of the congregation. And they three came out. So he said, okay, come up here to the tabernacle. And the Lord came down the pillar of the cloud and stood in the door of the tabernacle and called Aaron and Miriam. And they both came forth. So he's like, now he bringing Aaron and Miriam closer to him specifically, right? He said, hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I, the Lord, will make myself known unto him in a vision. I will speak unto him in a dream. So he's saying, like, hey, this is how it works. Like, prophets, they'll hear things where I'll show them visions or I will show them dreams. And we'll see that throughout the rest of the Bible. We see that in Isaiah. We see that in Jeremiah. We see that in the book of Daniel. We see that so many more times. That the Lord, when he reveals things to his prophets, it's in visions or dreams or like through his angels, right? But like we'll see how Moses is different. 7. My servant Moses is not so, who's faithful in all my house. He's like, well, but I don't do that with Moses. With him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches. In the similitude of the Lord shall he behold. Wherefore then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? He's like, well, Moses is different. Moses, I talk with him face to face, mouth to mouth, and even apparently. So, like, I'm here. Like, I don't do stuff in dreams with Moses or in visions or have my angel be like a middleman between us. I am here and I talk to him face to face. Apparently, I'm physically here talking to him. So, why did you guys not like feel it was okay? Or not feel like discouraged from talking against Moses in this kind of a way. 9. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against them, and he departed. So and the Lord got mad and just left. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. So now Miriam has become a leper. Which in this case, is she's been made white as snow. Because, the Israelites back here, even going back to them being in Egypt and Moses hiding in Egypt's house, they were of a darker skin complexion. So she was imagine her hand, or she looked like me, and then just one moment, bam, she's white. got white skin all over. She's white pale, right? So it's like a shocking thing, like, oh no, Miriam's white now. Like, she's become leprous, which, if you remember, lepers were unclean. Which, even going back to, well, we'll see, Aaron wasn't made leprous, but Miriam was. Which, even remember, the high priest could be unclean. Which, remember, Aaron is the high priest. So, if Aaron was made a leper, he couldn't be the high priest anymore. But Miriam, his sister, was made a leper. She was made unclean. So, like that, because that's what lepers were considered. Verse 11. And Aaron said to Moses, Alas, my Lord, I beseech thee, lay not the sin upon us, wherein we have done foolishly, and wherein we have sinned. So Aaron is now speaking to Moses, saying, My Lord, I beseech. Because, like, now, he's recognized the difference. That, like, oh, shoot, we are not on the same, like, the Lord has elevated Moses to a level that he's not elevated us. So I should not have spoken out of turn. So that's what he's saying, like, my Lord, like, hey, like, don't hold this sin against us. Like, hey, basically, please forgive us. We messed up. We didn't know what we were saying. We didn't understand, so on and so forth. Right? 12. Let her not be as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed, when she cometh out of his mother's womb. So he says, like, hey, don't leave her cursed like this. Like, please, like, do something to bring her back. 13. And Moses cried unto the Lord, saying, Heal her now, O God, I beseech thee. So Moses was like, please heal Miriam. And the Lord said unto Moses, If her father had but spit in her face, should she not be ashamed 7 days? Let her be shut out of the camp 7 days, and after that, let her be received in again. So he's like, hey, we'll put her out of camp for 7 days. Like, once those 7 days are done, because remember, that's what they did with all the people who were unclean. And she's a leper, so she's unclean now. So he's like, hey, put her out for 7 days. Once 7 days are over, we'll bring her back. And Miriam was shut out from the camp 7 days, and the people journeyed not till Miriam was brought in again. So they're waiting for her. And afterwards the people were moved from Hazeroth and pitched in the wilderness of Paran. So yeah. So now here, like, this chapter I feel is a really good example of not only, like, mind your manners, mind your words, where we all should do our best in discretion, not to keep our mouths off of matters that we are not aware of. And I mean that in pretty much anything. Like, two of your friends broke up, well, you shouldn't backbite and be like, oh, well, it's probably because Tad was a jerk to Christy, or, like, you get what I mean? Like, none of us ever, if you don't know a situation, if you aren't part of a matter, which is another way of really saying situation, if you aren't part of a matter, if you did witness something, if it's just a rumor, if it's just, even just what, like, a friend of a friend said this was the case, keep your mouth off of it. Even I have a bad habit of not doing that. But, I especially, but those things the Lord takes seriously, right? Because you never know if you're speaking against someone who is in the right. And regardless, you're speaking on matters that you don't know of anyway, which is wrong in and of itself. And that even goes as far as, the example I gave originally was, like, personal. But that also goes for, I think, something like celebrities, right? Like, you could take it like the Illuminati route, where, like, oh, there's a secret, society of these famous people that do these things, and they have which, I don't know, man. Maybe true, maybe not. I don't believe it. I don't really care, to be honest. But saying those things, I'm just saying that for my own benefit, your own benefit, saying those things is tale-bearing or bearing false witness because you don't know the matter. You're speaking on things that you don't know about, right? Unless you've been in the room at an Illuminati meeting, you can't say the Illuminati is real or who's a part of it. It's all speculation, and you're speaking on things that you don't know. Because even if you're right, it's tale-bearing because you didn't know. And if you are wrong, then you're bearing false witness, both of which are sins, right? Bearing false witness listed as one of the 10 Commandments in Exodus 20. And then even like a less like conspiracy theory route. Oh, well, I'm just saying this as an example. I don't know if this is true or not. Beyonce is breaking up with Jay-Z because of he cheated on her or something, right? Where it's like, oh, like even if that's what the story is, you don't know the specifics. So you go like, oh, Jay-Z's an awful person. And yada, yada, yada. Again, I don't know if this is if this really happened. I'm just making this up. But like, oh, he's an awful person and yada, yada, yada. Like he's this and he's that. You're speaking on matters you're not a part of, and that you don't know. And all of it could just end up with you being in the same spot as Miriam. Now, you may not be turned into a leper, but the Lord will and does punish us for our wickedness in this life. And shoot, that's really the best case scenario, because if he doesn't get you in this life, he'll punish you in the next. And the only way he's punishing you in that next life is that lake of fire. And none of us want that. So this is a really good chapter, where even if we feel as though we're justified, like I don't know the reason why she was coming up against him about the Ethiopian woman. I don't know what the reasoning was. Like I said, it doesn't explain. But in actuality, it really doesn't matter, right? Because you came up against Moses. And, well, the Lord has put him in this seat. And you're just trying to put yourself on equal terms with him. Out of this argument that you're having, or you're coming up against him. Because remember, it said Moses was very weak, so he's not really... It doesn't say he's even going against them. It says they're coming up against him. But... you're coming up against him, which isn't really doing anything against you, for out of a matter of just this Ethiopian woman, right? And all of it, like verse 2, you're just finding yourself saying, "How the Lord indeed spoke only by Moses," where like basically you're not special. So yeah, number 12 is just always important to remember. Like, keep your mouth off of stuff. We never really know who the Lord's chosen, who the Lord's ordained in a certain way. So it's okay to say, like, something is wicked, right? If a woman cheats on her husband, that's adultery, right? That is a sin. Now, am I going to go and say that person is damned to hellfire, to the lake of fire, and that they're an awful yada? Like, no, I'm not going to do that. Simply because I don't know any of the situation. I don't. And for sure, I don't know what the end judgment is going to be about them going to the lake of fire or anything like that, because that judgment is purely the Lord's, none of ours. So it's not ours to make or pretend we can. Yeah. With that being said, we can move on to chapter 13. Number 13 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Send out men that they may search the land of Canaan, which I give unto the children of Israel. Of every tribe of their fathers shall ye send a man, every one a ruler among them. So now they've gotten to like the border. And they're going to like send people to spy out the land of Canaan. That's the promised land. In order to see like who's there, what's there, so they can get ready to go conquer. 33. And Moses, by the commandment of the Lord, sent them from the wilderness of Paran, and those men were the heads of the children of Israel. And these were their names: the tribe of Reuben, Shammua the son of Zakur; of the tribe of Simeon, Shaphat the son of Hori; of the tribe of Judah, Caleb the son of Shephunneh; of the tribe of Issachar, Egan the son of Joseph; of the tribe of Ephraim, Oshea the son of Nun; of the tribe of Benjamin, Palti the son of Raphu; of the tribe of Zebulun, Gadiel the son of Sodi; of the tribe of Joseph, namely the tribe of Manasseh, Gadi the son of Susi; of the tribe of Dan, Amiel the son of Gamali; of the tribe of Asher, Sethur the son of Michael; of the tribe of Naphtali, Nabi the son of Vophsi; of the tribe of Gad, Guel the son of Maki. These are the names of the men which Moses sent to spy out the land, and Moses called Oshea the son of Nun, Jehoshua. So this is Oshea, is Joshua, or even like Jehoshua here, right? But here, like, we have the 12 dudes. Even again, a good example being the tribe of Levi is not here again, because remember, the tribe of Levi is meant specifically for the tabernacle stuff. They're meant to take care of the things of the tabernacle and in assisting the priests. So they don't take part in any of these things. That's what and we have 12 here because of the two half tribes. Manasseh in verse 11 and Ephraim got in verse 8. Yeah, there he is. So 17. And Moses sent them to spy out the land of Canaan and said unto them, get you up this way southward and go up into the mountain and see the land, what it is, and the people that dwell therein, whether they be strong or weak, few or many. And what the land is that they dwell in, whether it be good or bad, and what cities they be that they dwell in, whether in tents or in strongholds, and what the land is, whether it be fat or lean, whether there be wood therein or not, and be ye of good courage, and bring of the fruit of the land. The time was the time of the first ripe grapes. So they went up and searched the land from the wilderness of Zin unto Rahab, as men coming to Hamath. So it's like he sent them like, hey, just like get a good feel for the land, what's there, what's not, strong people, weak people, so on and so forth. So now they're going up and down throughout the land. And they ascended by the south and came unto Hebron, where Ahimah, Shishaiah, Talmaiah, the children of Anak were. Now Hebron was built 7 years before Zoan in Egypt. And they came unto the brook of Eshcol, and cut down from thence a branch with one cluster of grapes. And they bare it between two upon a staff, and they brought of the pomegranates and of the figs. The place was called the brook Eshcol, because of the cluster of grapes, which the children of Israel cut down from thence. And they returned from the searching of the land after 40 days. And they went and came to Moses and to Aaron, and to all the congregation of the children of Israel, unto the wilderness of Paran and Kadesh, and brought back word unto them, and unto all the congregation, and showed them the fruit of the land. And they told them, and said, we came into the land whither thou sentest us, and surely it flowed with milk and honey. And this is the fruit of it. Nevertheless, the people be strong that dwell in the land, and the cities are walled, and very great. And moreover, we saw the children of Anak there. The Amalekites dwell in the land of the south, and the Hittites, and the Jebusites, and the Amorites dwell in the mountains, and the Canaanites dwell by the sea, and by the coast of Jordan. And Caleb stilled the people before Moses, and said, let us go up at once and possess it, for we are well able to overcome it. So here, they've returned, they brought back some of the fruits of the land, they brought back some clusters of grapes and pomegranates, as well as some other fruit. And they're like, yeah, the land's really, really nice, but they got some big people over there. They got some these people are here, these people are here, these people are all along the coast. Like the Jebusites are here, the Hittites here, so on and so forth, right? And Caleb is trying to encourage the people, still the people, hey, guys, we got the Lord on our side. We're gonna go get that land. That land's gonna be ours, right? Trying to encourage them, to encourage them in the Lord, hey, we're gonna go get that land. It's all gonna be good. Verse 31. But the men that went up with him said, we be not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we. So now, but the other guys who came up with him, because it's Caleb and Joshua, and then 10 others. They brought an evil, as it says in 32, they brought an evil report of the land which they had searched unto the children of Israel, saying, the land through which we have gone to search it is a land that if up the inhabitants thereof, and all the people that we saw in it are men of great stature. So they're scaring the people, hey, they're saying oh shoot, we're not going to be able to beat those. I went up there, we're not going to be able to beat those guys. They're big, of giant stature. They're saying almost that they're giants. They said the land is the land is ready to consume you. And in that, there are so many great peoples and armies here that we go there, they're just going to kill us. 33. And there we saw the giants, the son of Anak, which come of the giants. And we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight. So we were small before them. So basically here we have Caleb trying to encourage the people in the Lord, being hey, we're going to go take up that land. And then the others are just nah, that land is treacherous, because they have giants in that land, and all the Hittites and Jebusites, all those people have walled and great cities, and they're also strong, and so on and so forth. So at this point, it's they're discouraging all the people. Chapter 13, good chapter. I don't want to say too much before we go into 14. But we'll see that this people here, because of like 14, they are discouraged from going up into, they're discouraged from going up into the land of Canaan, right? And like, a little spoilers for 14, but this is why they end up spending 40 years in the wilderness, because of this unbelief and this lack of faith. And like I said, this is like a continual thing that we're just going to like see over and over just throughout the Bible as a whole. But I think it's always good to like look at these chapters and self-examine, right? Because the Bible always says like these things of old were like things in like the Old Testament or New Testament or just throughout the Bible as a whole. They were meant to be our examples, our ensamples. Hebrews 11 is a good example of a bunch of listings of good examples, right? Your Abrahams, your Isaac, your Jacob, Joseph, Moses here, as well as Joshua himself from later on, David, the prophets as well. Like I think it mentions Elijah, Elisha by name. It mentions even Enoch, so on and so forth. These are good examples, right, of just how we ought to live in the Lord. But then here, these are on the other side, where it's bad examples for us to learn from, where the trials of this life, whether they are more physical or emotional or even like spiritual, we can overcome all things through Christ, right? If God be for us, who can be against us, right? Where I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And that verse is, many people take it as, well, anything I want to do, I can do through Christ. Which is true if it's within God's will himself. No matter what you do, you can't do something if it's not God's will for you to do it. And that's just a matter of fact. If God doesn't want you to do something, or doesn't want you to be able to do something, you won't be able to do it. But point being is that, and that's true, right? If it's in the Lord's will for you to do it, like, it's going to happen, right? But even on the flip side, what that verse is that a lot of people miss sometimes is that it's talking about where we can bear all things through Christ. Whether it is like you're not being able to pay your rent on time, or if your grandmother is sick, or if it's you just got fired from your job, or if you just got through a bad breakup, or like whatever it may be. Like I said, like whether it's something emotional, whether it's something physical, whether it's something spiritual, right? You got injured, like you broke your leg, right? You can get through all of those things with Christ. If we have faith and we believe, right, we will be able to make it through those things with Christ because we have Christ, right? And this is a good example of how easy when challenges come, it is to forget that, right? And like we've seen that in like some of the last few chapters too, but Israel's a really good example of not being content and forgetting the Lord when things get tough. And this is like a prime example where when things get tough, we need to hold on to the Lord harder. We need to study His Word longer. We need to delve deeper into His Spirit, right? Fill up ourselves with more of His Spirit through reading His Word and meditating on His law and keeping His law day and night, right? And that's just always what I see, specifically when I look at like Numbers 13 and what we'll see in Numbers 14. Yeah, but with that, I think we're good to go to Numbers 14. Yeah, I think I'll end it here with Numbers 14. I think this will be the last one. Numbers 14 and verse 1. And all the congregation lifted up their voice and cried, and the people wept that night. And all the children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron. And the whole congregation said to them, would God that we had died in the land of Egypt, or would God we had died in this wilderness? So now again, they were speaking out against not only Moses and Aaron, but against God. We're like, hey, we should have just died in Egypt. We can't go up and take that land. Oh. Right? Being like scared, right? You see their clear lack of faith, right? And wherefore hath the Lord brought us unto this land to fall by the sword, that our wives and our children should be a prey? Were it not better for us to return to Egypt? Like, hey, all of us and our wives and our children are going to die here. We should just go back to Egypt. And they said one to another, let us make a captain, and let us return into Egypt. Then Moses and Aaron fell on their faces before all the congregation of the children of Israel. And Joshua the son of Nun and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, which were of them that searched the land, rent their clothes. And they spake unto all the company of the children of Israel, saying, the land which we passed through to search it is an exceeding good land. If the Lord delight in us, then he will bring us into the land and give it us, a land which flowed with milk and honey. Joshua and Caleb trying to bring it back, like, hey, the Lord, that's a great land. And the Lord, if he loves us, will give us this land. The same way he's delivered us out of Egypt, he will give us this land. Only rebel not ye against the Lord, neither fear ye the people of the land, for they are bread for us. Their defenses depart from them, and the Lord is with us. Fear them not. Says that the Lord is with us. We can beat them. Their defense is nothing before the Lord. But all the congregation made stone them with stones, but the congregation is ready to kill them because of this. Ironically, because they had faith in the Lord. And the glory of the Lord appeared in the tabernacle of the congregation before all the children of Israel. And the Lord said to Moses, how long will this people provoke me? And how long will it be ere they believe me, for all the signs which I have shown among them? I will smite them with the pestilence and disinherit them, and will make of thee a greater nation and mightier than they. So we're back to something that we saw in Exodus, where the Lord's like, hey, I'm just going to kill them all, and I'll make a nation out of you, Moses. Where he's like, well, they just won't listen. They just don't believe me. And Moses said to the Lord, then the Egyptians shall hear it, for thou broughtest up this people in thy might from among them, and they will tell it to the inhabitants of this land, for they have heard that thou, Lord, art among this people, that thou, Lord, art seen face to face, and that thy cloud stand over them, and that thou goest before them by daytime in the pillar of a cloud, and in the pillar of fire by night. Now, if thou shalt kill all this people as one man, then the nations which have heard the fame of thee will speak, saying, because the Lord was not able to bring this people into the land which he sware unto them, therefore he hath slain them in the wilderness. And now I beseech thee, let the power of my Lord be great, according as thou hast spoken, saying, the Lord is long-suffering, and of great mercy, forgiving iniquity and transgression, and by no means clearing the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation. So Moses is like, Lord, if you do that, they're just going to say, because you didn't have the power, you killed them in the wilderness. So Lord, don't do that. Like, Lord, I know you're long-suffering, that you are forgiving, that you show great mercy. So Lord, please forgive the people. 19, pardon, I beseech thee, the iniquity of this people, according unto the greatness of thy mercy, and as thou hast forgiven this people, from Egypt even until now. And the Lord said, I have pardoned according to thy word. But as truly as I live, all the earth shall be filled with the glory of the Lord. Because all those men which have seen my glory, my miracles, which I did in Egypt and in the wilderness, have tempted me now these 10 times, and have not hearkened to my voice. Surely they shall not see the land which I swear unto their fathers, neither shall any of them that provoke me see it. So now he's like, whoa, okay, because of this, none of these people are going to get to see the promised land. All these people who said this, they won't be able to go see the promised land. This is why, we'll keep reading, this is why they walked in the wilderness for 40 years. For all of these people here, this generation of people, to die out. And then, we'll see, their kids that they were complaining about before, possibly dying, they will be the ones to go into the land and inherit it. 24, but the Lord even makes an exception, and we'll see why. But my servant Caleb, because he had another spirit with him, and hath fallen fully, him will I bring into the land whereinto he went, and his seed shall possess it. So with the exception of Caleb, Because Caleb, as well as Joshua, and we'll see Joshua, that's what the book of Joshua is about, he goes over the land too. Caleb, because he said, like, hey, he had faith in the Lord, was like, hey, we'll be able to take the land, so on and so forth. The Lord's like, well, okay, he's going to be able to go. But all the other people, no. They won't be able to go over there. 25. Now the Amalekites and the Canaanites dwelt in the valley. Tomorrow turn you, and get you into the wilderness by the way of the Red Sea. And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, how long shall I bear with this evil congregation which murmur against me? I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel which they murmur against me. Saying to them, as truly as I live, saith the Lord, as ye have spoken to mine ears, so will I do to you. Your carcasses shall fall in this wilderness, and all that were numbered of you according to your whole numbers, from 20 years old and upward, which have murmured against me. Because remember, these are the people who are supposed to go out to war. The people from 20 years old and upward. Right? So these people who were supposed to go out to there and fight, they were complaining and being like, no, we can't, because y'all were afraid and y'all lacked faith. So you guys are going to die here in the wilderness, and your seed after you are going to be the ones that go into the promised land. Yeah. 30. Doubtless ye shall not come into the land concerning which I swear to make you dwell therein, save Caleb the son of Jephunneh and Joshua the son of Nun. And that's what ended up happening. Those two were the only ones from this generation that got to go over. But your little ones, which he said should be a prey, them will I bring in, and they shall know the land which ye have despised. But as for you, your carcasses, they shall fall in this wilderness, and your children shall wander in the wilderness 40 years. And bear your whoredoms until your carcasses be wasted in the wilderness. So that's why they were walking around for 40 years. After the number of the days in which ye searched the land, even 40 days. And specifically because they were in the land for 40 days. So now you're going to be stuck in the wilderness for 40 years. Crazy, isn't it? Each day for a year shall ye bear your iniquities, even 40 years. And ye shall know my breach of promise. I, the Lord, have said, I will surely do it unto all this evil congregation that are gathered together against me in this wilderness. They shall be consumed, and there they shall die. And the men which Moses sent to search the land, who returned and made all the congregation to murmur against him by bringing up a slander upon the land, even those men that did bring up the evil report upon the land, died by the plague before the Lord. So the Lord sent a plague and even killed those men, because you've caused these people to go astray. Like, you gave a really bad report saying we won't be able to defeat them and turn the people astray. So now you have to die. 38. But Joshua the son of Nun and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, which were of the men that went to search the land, lived still. And Moses told these sayings unto all the children of Israel, and the people mourned greatly. And they rose up early in the morning, and gat them up into the top of the mountain, saying, Lo, we be here, and will go up unto the place which the Lord hath promised. For we have sinned. So now they're trying to go up to the promised land. Like, oh, no, like, Lord, no, we're sorry, we'll go up there. And Moses said, Wherefore now do you transgress the commandment of the Lord, but it shall not prosper? He said, no. Like, well, why are you going to get, Lord already commanded you, you're going to be walking in the wilderness now. If you try to go up and beat them now you'll lose, because the Lord's not going to be with you. Because the Lord's decided, no, you're not taking the promised land now. You're going to die in this wilderness, and your children are going to be the ones who go up 40 years from now and take up the land. Go not up, for the Lord is not among you, that ye be not smitten before your enemies. For the Amalekites and the Canaanites are there before you. And ye shall fall by the sword, because ye are turned away from the Lord. Therefore the Lord will not be with you. But they presumed to go up into the hilltop. Nevertheless, the ark of the covenant of the Lord and Moses departed not out of the camp. Then the Amalekites came down, and the Canaanites which dwelt in that hill, and smote them, and discomfited them, even unto Hormah. And they didn't even listen. And they went up and tried to fight. And they lost and got killed. And Moses and the ark of the covenant stayed behind because, like, Moses, like, I already told you. But, yeah. So they stayed behind. And they still chose. And that's the ironic thing. Like, now, you guys are ready to go up and fight and go to do the thing. And I literally just told you, the Lord's not with you. And you will lose. And now, you're still just disobedient either way, and that's the crazy thing. Where it even goes back to, like I said, I always read that 1 Samuel. Obedience is better than sacrifice. Y'all should just have been obedient. In either case, and you guys would have been fine. obedient and gone up, or obedient and just stayed. But no, you thought you knew better. So you had to try and finagle and find a way that fit what you wanted to be the case. But yeah, that's Numbers 14. And that's why they were stuck in the wilderness for those 40 years. We'll keep reading, and we'll see when we get to the end of Deuteronomy, all the people died out, and it was just Joshua and Caleb from the generation, and then they cross over. But from here on out, years and years and years will pass, and just all the people continually dying out. But yeah, that's Numbers 14. And that's it for today. That's the end of our reading. I want to go to just making sure we don't have anything there. I think it's Philippians. We got some really good reading done today. Like I said, I think it's a prime example of just this is what I've been building up to for a while. This is just why there are 7 mornings. And I think all of them are really good examples of how we should be mindful of our tongue, how we should all be faithful unto the Lord and content, and always remember that we can do all things through Christ, which is the spot I'm going to. Yeah. This is 12, just 12 and 13. Philippians 4, 12 and 13. I know both how to be abased, and I know how to abound. Abound meaning do well. Everywhere and in all things, I'm instructed both to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need. I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. And that's it. I just wanted to read that because whether we face trials or things are going well, or we are feeling lost, or we know exactly where we are, right? In all things, Christ should be there within us. And he's always there for us, right? So it's always so important that we don't forget the Lord when things are bad. But we also don't forget the Lord when things are good, right? We have the good because the Lord is there. And we make it through the bad because the Lord's there too, right? So it's always important to remember that for Christ's sake, we should be willing to suffer all things. And that through all things, we should be there for Christ, right? And Christ can help us through all things, whether they be bad or good. Yeah. And with that, that was the last thing I wanted to read today. Oh, yeah, thank you. And with that, we read Numbers 11 through 14. Tomorrow we'll pick it up with Korah. Yeah. Numbers 15. Well, he's number 16, but yeah. And will be another good example of just the continual wickedness of Israel, as well as just, I think, a really good example of what Romans 1 talks about, where not only those that do these things, but those that have pleasure in those that do them. So, but yeah. With all that, thank you very much again for joining me today, and I hope you have a good night. Take care.